A very good evening to you. Welcome to the morning edition of the show. I'm Yemi Adebayo. Well, of course, there's always a lot to talk about in the amazing world of sports. We begin to count down to the AFCON qualifier against the Leon Stars of Sierra Leone. The camp of the Super Eagles already open in Benin City. We'll talk about that on the show tonight. The Handball Premier League currently going on as well. We will talk about match day 10, the results. We'll talk about that on the show. What's the status of Diego Maradona? The doctor says he's recovering well. We'll talk about him as well. So there's a lot for you. I'm just trying to give you a quick rundown of what to expect on the show. Before I introduce my partners on the show, we're going to be making brief stops in London and here in the studio in Lagos. But I won't let the cat out of the bag just yet. I want to bring you into what we're doing here on the show. Just in case you're joining us for the first time, this is how you can be a part of what we're doing here on the show. Let's know how you feel about all of the amazing things happening in your world of sports. You can give your opinion on issues raised on this program through the following mechanisms. On Facebook, Channels iPhone Sports, and on Twitter, Channels iPhone Sports. That's how you can be a part of the show. All right. Let me start from here in Lagos before I go to London. I have with me the deputy editor of Sporting Live, Onyenwuchi Nwachukwu. He joins me again today. Onyenwuchi, it's good to have you with me today to take this journey in the amazing world of sports.
Always a pleasure, Yemi. Of course, it's going to be a very busy week for the Super Eagles. And across the continent, the qualifiers, that was halted by the pandemic. The last time we played was in November last year, exactly 1 year.
Yeah,
but hopefully, gradual activities gradually returning to the sports sector. I will hope that all the precautionary measures as stipulated by CAF and FIFA are taken into consideration to safeguard the health of the players, the backroom staff, and the few people who will be allowed into the stadium.
All right, so that's it. All right, let's quickly go to London. We're going to make it two-way. Our man, Austin Okon-Akpan, is right there. Austin, I know you can hear me clearly, so it's good to have you join us on the show tonight.
Sporty greetings, Yemi. Sporty greetings, Uchi, Nwachukwu, and of course to our numerous viewers all over the world watching us. It's good to be on the show. So much going down in our action-packed sort of sports. It's such a delight to be with you guys tonight.
All right, so we're going to keep it interactive as possible, so just be ready to chip in when there's something you want to add to it. Let's start with of course, the elephant in the room is the Super Eagles, but that's not where we're going to start. We're going to start with our teams on the continent. They now know their opponents. So let's just give it to you so that we can quickly reel it out. Let's talk about CAF club competitions involving Plateau United, Eyimba, also involving Kano Pillars and Rivers United. We'll talk about the preliminary rounds. Nigeria's Plateau United, they're in the CAF Champions League. They're going to be playing against Simba. This is a very tough side. Raimo FC also will be involved in that one. They'll be up against our own Eyimba International. That's the Aba Elephants. Let me pause on this one. I'm going to get your thoughts. I'm going to get Austin's thoughts later on. Preliminary round. Matches to be played, first leg, November 27 to 29, 2020. Second leg to be played, December 4th to 6th, 2020. I'm looking at the opponents that our team have drawn, mixed fortunes. I think for Plateau United, it's a lot more difficult. I'm not underrating the team Eyimba is playing, but I think
I completely agree with you. I mean, Simba is a massive club in Tanzania. They enjoy a lot of funding. They have massive followership. Although, because of the coronavirus, fans are will not be allowed to watch the games. But Plateau United, they really need a lot of work to do. But unfortunately, the league has not started. I think it was just a few weeks ago that government lifted the ban on contact sports. So for the coaches and the players, I mean, they have a race against time to prepare adequately for a formidable opponent. So I don't really envy their position. That's not to say that they cannot achieve victory over Simba. But they need to work very hard because Simba are a side with a lot of pedigree on the continent.
All right. Okay, Austin, let me get your thoughts. We're still going to go to the Confederation Cup, but let's start with this one, the CAF Champions League, and those two teams, Plateau United and Eyimba. It's just a preliminary rounds. There's really no reason to be scared. But you look at Simba and you're like, oh, why did Plateau United draw this team?
Yeah, that's what it is. I know you mentioned it that they're respected in the continent. Loads of attention has been given to that football club in Tanzania. Eyimba on their own part we can bank on their experience to do one or two things in the CAF Champions League, but Plateau United needs to do a lot of work, and it is a race against time. Notwithstanding, Eyimba cannot afford to be complacent against Raimo, but I know there's a lot of work to do against Simba because at this level in the CAF Champions League, you need to worry. The preliminary round is everything. That's the round that takes you to the next round. And so those guys will come and then give everything. There is no respect in the CAF Champions League. Everybody has some champions mentality where they are coming from. So that's the approach they're going to be giving it. But let's just bank on the superiority that we'll have right here in Nigeria. Eyimba will go in with a lot of experience. Plateau United can also draw some strength in that one. I see this as second chance for them. Remember the last time out, it wasn't a good one for them. So let's see what they can do in terms of learning from past mistakes. COVID-19 has affected everyone. So if anybody comes out and says it has affected me, that's why I didn't win. Someone will say you didn't prepare. So let's get to work now, monitor the teams and see how you can up the game in terms of players' welfare for our players, and then doing the right things in terms of infrastructure development also, so that they can get into that right frame to go and compete.
Okay, I mean, Onyenwuchi has touched on it, but I also want to get your thoughts on that. The fact that our league is not on right now, how much of a factor is that going to be when some of our teams begin to play on the continent?
Sadly, it will be. It will be because, it will affect their fitness level. You'll see a little bit of match rustiness here and there. Football, we keep saying it, is 90% mental and 10% just kicking off that ball. So if you've not been playing football for some time, it's going to be a whole lot of, difficulty when you get on it. But as we always say, these guys are professionals. Class is permanent. So if you've got it going, it will go for you. But definitely, it's going to affect them. They've not been playing competitive football. But I'm sure they've been doing their own bits in the background. Yes, it's just that we've not been able to see them play and assess their level of readiness for such a competition as the CAF Champions League. But you'd expect Plateau United, top team in the Nigeria Professional Football League, former champions, Eyimba, former champions of the CAF Champions League, multiple champions of the Nigeria Professional Football League. You'd expect that when they are called to play, it's a mission, and they have to get the mission accomplished.
All right. So, still talking about that, before we talk about the CAF Confederation Cup, Onyenwuchi also alluded to the fact that COVID-19 has affected everybody. It really shouldn't be an excuse. And I know you know a lot about these teams, what they've been doing, even while COVID-19 was on. To me, it seems it's going to be down to whatever they've been able to do on their own. They're not going to get the opportunity to get properly tuned up with whatever is going to happen on the domestic scene. So it leads me to the question, will whatever they're doing, their individual training, private trainings, will it be enough to carry you through in a continental competition?
Well, what is going to happen here is that the management of the teams and the players will have to be very creative. You really can't blame anybody at this moment because government placed a ban on the sporting activities. And when you also consider that some of our opponents, like the league in Egypt is on, and in some other African countries, they have comparative advantage over us. And you also compare the facilities available to some of these countries. So I know that some of these teams are involved in preseason matches, but they are really not enough. We are playing against the best on the continent. And I just hope that these clubs will dig into the reservoir and come up with a formula to inspire these players. Because we are really coming from a disadvantaged situation.
Yes.
Because these players have not been playing competitively. Some of them, though you call them professionals, but What have they really been doing? Are there facilities for them to keep fit?
All right.
You know, privately and otherwise. So these are the issues.
Okay.
But as a country, we cannot give up. We are already in the championship. We have to prepare a team.
You have to face anybody that's in front of you.
Yeah.
Okay, you know, let's just talk about, let's just go straight into the CAF Confederation Cup and look at the teams that our representatives will come across. First leg, you know, same dates with the one for the Champions League. First leg to be played November 27 to 29. Second leg to be played between December 4 to December 6. But AS Giraffe from Ghana will take on Kano Pillars of Nigeria. You have Futuro Kings of Equatorial Guinea will take on Rivers United. Oh yeah, forgive me for my optimism, but I'm looking at this and I'm smiling to myself. Well, it shouldn't be too difficult.
Yeah, but you know, the advantage the two teams have is that they are playing first leg, I mean, the away leg first.
Yes,
you know, so if they are able to
limit the
damages, you can. This is African football. You know, a lot of advantages at home. Teams do a lot of things at home that we have not been able to check, so that they can win games. So, but if we are, at least get a draw, nobody's saying that they cannot win. But if you get a draw,
at least don't lose.
Don't lose, or even if you're going to lose, let it be with slim margin and come back home, get the needed result to advance to the next level. You know, before then, the league could hopefully start on December 6th, so that they will get competitive matches to fine-tune their shape and strategy. Right. So I think for the Confederations Cup, we could sit down here and say, this looks pretty easy on paper.
Yes.
And I also hope that these teams will send some scouts or get some match tapes of the opponents. This is the 21st century. You can't be talking about, you can't be hearing coaches saying they don't know anything about the team.
Nobody gave me clips.
No. That should not be heard in this time. So,
time and era.
You go on the YouTube, you spend money to get information. You don't just sit down somewhere and claim that you don't have information about the team.
That's true. All right. Austin, you heard what we've been saying about the CAF Confederations Cup. There's a smile on my face. There's a smile on yours as well. I don't know. Forgive me if I think it might not be too difficult, but let me get your thoughts, really.
So, Onye made a good point that the advantage for both Nigerian teams is that they're playing their first legs away from home. But it's a tricky advantage because sometimes complacency will step in. You go away from home and you play a goalless draw, play 1-1, you've not played a leg because you'll be under pressure to do all the work at home. So it's to plan to win both legs. For Kano Pillars, ASC Giraffe of Ghana and Kano Pillars, it's not the clubs, though, it is Ghana versus Nigeria. So that comes with a lot of hostilities. Anything that you place Nigeria and Ghana, then it's difficult. For Rivers United, hopefully a lot of mental work will go into that team because they were really aspiring to play in the CAF Champions League. Now they are in the CAF Confederation Cup. Let's see what they can do against the side from Equatorial Guinea. I think it's same old same. It is a mission. Everybody needs to come out and get the job done. Onye made a good point that coaches should do a lot. So sometimes people just plan. No, it's supposed to be research and planning. Go and find out about your team. Go and watch about them. Go and ask questions. If it's possible to send people into their country to ask questions, ask about them, educate your players so that they can come out with all of the weapons that they have for that crucial one. But with the CAF Confederation Cup, you want to expect Kano Pillars and Rivers United to get past this preliminary round. But then again, guys, it's football. The moment you want to start thinking you know everything, you get stunned. So let them do the work. Go out there and get the job done.
All right. So that's it. All right, still talking about football and clubs on the domestic scene. The news that we've all been eagerly awaiting, we already have it now. December 6th is when the 2020-2021 MPFL season is expected to start, and we already have the fixtures. It's out there. So let me just reel it to you. Match day 1, this is what is expected to happen, all things being equal. On December 6th, you get to see these fixtures that's coming up on your screen right about now. There you have it. Match day 1, December 6th, 2020. Adamawa United up against Kano Pillars. Casina United up against Heartland. Asawa United up against Wiki. Plateau United will take on Kwara United for size. Aba International will take on Abia Warriors. Rivers United takes on the Rangers. You're tempted to think that one is going to be huge. Then you have Aqua United up against Dakar FC, Jigawa Golden Stars up against Sunshine Stars, FC Ufan Yoba against Lobby Stars, MFM against Warri Wolves. I mean, Oyewuchi, it's just week one. Nobody wants to call anything because you've not seen these teams play. It's, whatever you want to say about them are things you know from last season or from years past. But for me, I'm happy that everything looks set, bearing any unforeseen circumstance.
Yeah, I mean, we want our league back so that activities can gather momentum. Yemi, a lot of factors still needs to be sorted out. If you, from that fixtures, when you look at it holistically, you will discover that some of the venues, are still yet to be confirmed.
Yes.
For instance, at the Okigwe Township Stadium, you have two teams that are going to play use there as their home ground. That's Heartland Football Club and Abia Warriors. But on that same fixture, you discover that they put the matches at the same time, 4 p.m. So we are wondering, who is going to play first? Are they going to play 2 p.m. and another game will be played by 4 p.m.? Or are they going to move the game to the following day?
On a surface that is yet to be certified.
Yes, certified. So there are other venues that are yet to be confirmed. So we hope that the LMC will do the needful. And again, we said here last week that their will be tested.
Yes.
I'm happy that they are insisting that football games should be played on Lord's Green pitch.
Yes.
I mean, it's good for the players. They avoid injury. You play good football, and it's good for branding.
Yes.
We can't be playing football matches on terrible pitches. It doesn't make sense. It's even cancerous to the eyes.
Yes.
So I think we want to support the LMC. Let them do the right thing. If needs be, convince the governors that this is where you are going to. This is your vision. And I know that some of the governors will key into the agenda.
All right.
We can't move back. We have to move forward so that football in Nigeria can take its rightful place.
All right. Let me go to Austin now. Austin, how excited are you that the fixtures are out? Some of the issues still there, but I guess we still have time to sort out some of these things.
I'm super excited. I mean, it's good to know that our football is back. It's a lot of football sometimes that binds us as a people. And I'm sure fans cannot wait for it to come back. Unfortunately, they will not be at the stadium. But hey, those talking points will start again. Those bragging rights will start again. That's what football does. But let's not forget the LMC. While we commend them for their resolve as regards infrastructure development, we should also know that the virus is still out there. I always say this, the virus is still out there. So don't say, because they are playing, state government officials will bring people to the stadium. We still need to practice social distancing. We need to respect the safety protocols just so we do not put ourselves into what we start saying, had we known, we wouldn't have started the league. So I'm glad that it's coming back. The fixture is juicy when you see a fixture as Rivers United taking on the Enugu Rangers on match day 1. Then you know that the league will really get us talking again. When you see Aqua United taking on their younger brother Dakar FC, that was very impressive last season. Before that premature ending of the league, you'd expect some fireworks in that one also. Onye made good points about the stadium at Okigwe. The LMC needs to come out and stand their ground. We said, look, you must offend people. If a state governor is calling you, come to my state, let's play football there. If you're bringing visitors to your house, you must put it in order. It must be good to use. So any state government that wants football in their state should do the right things. Make sure your stadium is good for competition, is good for TV, is good for the players to even play football, because if you're playing tough, it's bad, it will affect performance. And we've seen it a lot of times in our league football. So I'm glad that the league is coming back, but we should have it at the back of our mind, particularly testing. The league management company should be ready to invest in testing players. COVID-19 is still out there, and we should ensure that we keep our players safe.
All right. Nice one, Austin. I'm going to keep you on. We need to go on a break. When we return from that break, we'll talk about the big one. That's the Super Eagles of Nigeria updates from their camp. We'll talk about football elections, what's happening with CAF. We'll also talk about some decisions that has been taken by CAF with regards to the presence of the fans at the venue of the game. But we need to go on a break right about now. When we return from that break, we'll talk about all of these things that I've mentioned and more on Sports Tonight. All right, welcome back. So let's take it from where we left off. We're done with our clubs, talking about the clubs on the continent, clubs on the domestic scene. And it's now time to address the elephant in the room. And of course, that's the Super Eagles of Nigeria will be up against the Leon Stars in the AFCON qualifier. Double header it's going to be. But first piece of news that we have for you, the Confederation of African Football have made it clear that it's not just the fans that will not be allowed into the stadium. The journalists as well will not be allowed. They have confirmed that no journalists or supporters will be allowed into the Samuel Ogbemudia Stadium, that's in Benin City, for the game between the Super Eagles of Nigeria and the Leon Stars of Sierra Leone. In the guidelines communicated to Nigerian Football Federation, CAF instructed other media operations that there will be no mixed zone and virtual press conferences only, and that only the TV channels with the right will be allowed flash interviews. Does this surprise you? You know, were you expecting this?
Yes, we are dealing with...
Some of us thought we're going to get maybe a little number.
Journalists are human beings too, and they need to also take care, safeguard their health.
Yeah.
You know, we are dealing with a pandemic that
Respects nobody.
is no respect of people, and it's rampaging at the moment. So every precaution will be taken. So I don't want people to take it personal. Okay. It's the guideline. We have to follow it until such a time that this virus is defeated. So like CAF said, it's going to be, the press conference will be virtual.
Virtual, yeah.
Perhaps they will give the codes and people can hook on and get interviews.
Ask your questions,
and get the interviews. The most important thing is that an opportunity has been given for journalists to pose their questions to the coaches, to the captains after the game, and from there you can do your stories. It's not going to last forever. All of us, we need to cooperate and make sure that the spread of this virus is curtailed.
All right. So it's not only the fans that got caught in the net. We thought, the supporters, and the journalists.
Yeah, but I mean, the guidelines too that CAF sent last Friday demanded that if the NFF want fans, a sizable number of fans, they have the opportunity to apply. And when you apply, CAF will look at it and say, okay, this stadium has this capacity. Maybe we can take 1/3 of that. But if you don't apply...
On that so-so condition.
If you are able to meet those conditions, then some few fans will be allowed to go. But I think that time is against at the moment. I don't think that can be achievable. But let's see how it goes. Journalists can get their interviews done virtually after the games, and that's this.
Okay, so since we're talking about the Super Eagles, let's talk about camp updates. We hear that camp opened today.
Yeah.
Captain Ahmed Musa is in camp. Kelechi Iheanacho, Maduka Okoye, Ogenekaro, Etebo, Paul Onuachu. They're the early birds in the camp. And we also hear that Coach Gernot Rohr has called up Shehu Abdullahi to replace injured Frank Oyenka for the two-leg qualifier. Of course, we know that the first leg we played on November 13, and the second leg we played 5 days later. There've been, and I'm going to get Austin's thoughts, with the next question I'm going to ask you. There have been fears that maybe these players may not arrive on time, the restrictions in Europe, across the globe. There are fears that, tomorrow it's expected that they're going to have a training session. Whether that training session will be a full training session, we do not know. But there are fears that these guys may not be able to get to camp as early enough because of all of those restrictions here and there. But do you have that fears as well?
Yeah, I have. Coach Gernot Rohr raised the fears yesterday when he said that some of the players' flights were cancelled.
Yeah.
Restrictions and lockdowns have been imposed in some European countries because of the rising speed of the virus. And they've been making frantic efforts to get other flight tickets for the players. So as it is now, If the players are able to arrive, I think it will be very, very good for the team. But if they arrive tomorrow or today, it means that they just have 3 days to prepare for this game, which is very, very hectic. It's going to be hectic for the coach. You just have 3 days. If you have a full camp this night, by tomorrow you start training. That's in the event that players arrive this night.
That you have everybody.
You have everybody. But if they arrive tomorrow, then you have Wednesday and Thursday, 2 days to prepare. So I don't know how Coach Genatro is going to do it.
Well, if they arrive tomorrow, maybe the evening session. I don't know. I'm just trying to.
No, it's really a perilous time for football activities.
And it's a sign of the times.
Yeah. And I just hope that the players will be able to dig deep.
Yeah, just find a way around.
Yes, and get the results home and away, because we don't know when this pandemic will go away. If we're able to maximize this opportunity and get the results home and away, then we have qualified. If we're able to get 6 points, then we have qualified. Then we can look at other issues, maybe get home-based players to prosecute the remaining, so that these players, we also learned over the weekend that Napoli, we are planning to stop Osimhen from coming for this game. But you also look at the clubs in Europe.
I think there's an Italian club that didn't want players to leave because they noticed that someone had COVID, and you can't blame anybody.
Just yesterday, Granada were ravaged by coronavirus. They had to play against Real Sociedad, and they were beaten, ruthlessly. They had about 7 players who were infected with the virus, but the La Liga insisted that the game must go on. Because they don't want to send the wrong precedents. If you do that, every club will say, okay, we have 1 coronavirus case or 2, we're not going to play. So we have to look around it, the NFL, the coaches, and find a way around it, so that these players, their health will be protected and also be in a position to deliver the goods.
All right, let me go to Austin now. Austin, how worried are you over this issue that we talked about? We are already looking at a scenario where there's going to be, there probably will be, I hope it doesn't happen that way, but there might be late arrivals, so you might not probably get enough training sessions. Although a lot of people are already saying it's Sierra Leone. Is it not Sierra Leone? But you shouldn't be saying that in football.
No, you shouldn't. And if you hear what the Sierra Leoneans are saying, they really want this game against the Super Eagles. They want to come to Benin to win. But I'm super worried. These are difficult times for football. COVID-19 is as damaged and still damaging a lot of fabrics of football. Here in the UK, after the second lockdown, clubs are even letting players to sign, going for international duty, that they will come back negative of COVID-19. Because, everybody is seeing this thing like, look, it can just stop what your next plan will be. Look at it for the players. They will leave Europe under a different condition and come to Benin City, play under a different condition. As Onyi said, they might not even train. A lot of flights are being cancelled in the UK today. So if someone is supposed to come in today, his flight is cancelled, faces delayed tomorrow, he has just Thursday before the match on Friday. Very difficult. In terms of even tactical approach, the technical crew, they will be thinking, what are the options that we'll have? And my biggest prayer, guys, someone tests positive, it is just going to bring down the mood of the camp. So let's be optimistic that everything will go well, and then we'll respect the safety protocols and let them just play football. Let nobody come and test positive, because it's going to be disaster.
Yeah, I agree with you, Austin. Let's listen to Coach Gernot Rohr. In spite of all the issues, he expects a good game. I do too. We all do. So let's listen to Coach Gernot Rohr speaking ahead of that game against the Lone Stars of Sierra Leone, letting us know his expectations ahead of that game.
Yeah, we are good mentally. We are good because we're happy to be back in Nigeria since 1 year, because the last game was here in November, if you remember well, in November 2019, before all these problems. And now, finally, we are back. It's still not normal football because no crowd. But we are back, and I hope that grass will be okay in Benin City. I see that's a new stadium, but the most important for the players is to have a good grass, and then to see a good football game. We want to give joy to Nigeria in this very special period, and we want to be happy with a good win next Friday.
I want to be happy with a good win. That's what we all expect. And Uchi, I don't want us to flog this issue, but seriously, in spite of all we have said, the fan on the street don't expect anything less than victory.
Yeah, I mean, that's why they are fans. They want victory all the time. And they are going to look at Sierra Leone and fancy the chances of the Super Eagles. But this is football. I mean.
Yeah.
And in recent times, we have seen teams like Guinea-Bissau qualify for the African Cup of Nations. And if you don't come to the party on the day of the game, you are likely to be taken to the cleaner. So the Eagles, in spite of all the difficulties in flights and the coronavirus pandemic, people expect that they do well. And that's the expectation.
If my memory serves me right, in the run-up to the 2002 qualifiers, Sierra Leone, I think, beat us once. Liberia was in our group. I think they were.
Yeah, that was in 2001.
Yeah.
We lost to Sierra Leone in Freetown.
Where Mohamed Kalon scored.
Peter Zadida was the goalkeeper.
Yeah. So for those who think, history even tells us that they've beaten us before. So, all right. So let's leave that and talk some football politics on the continent. That's the next place we are going. Let's talk about CAF presidency. At some point, a lot of people thought the incumbent CAF president, Ahmad Ahmad, would just stroll into re-election. And at some point, we thought, okay, nobody's going to, ruffle his feathers. But now we hear that Mamelodi Sundowns boss, Patrice Motsepe, has thrown his hat into the ring. Not only has he thrown his hat into the ring, all the requirements that he needs, first, his home association, that's SAFA, they've backed him. It's also got support from Nigeria and from Sierra Leone. In your picture, you have football administrator Danny Jordan, well-respected. I mean, he's wearing a hat that has many feathers, politician, activist. I mean, he's done a lot, and he's throwing his weight behind Motsepe. Before we listen to Danny Jordan, your thoughts on this situation. It comes from the same region as the incumbent CAF president.
Yeah, I mean, they say the more the merrier. And I think it's good for African football, for personalities like Motsepe. Motsepe is the first black African in 28 to be listed by Forbes as a billionaire. He has very strong private sector background. He owns Mamelodi Sundowns. They won a treble just recently, and they have done well. I mean, his club employs a lot of internationals across the country. So this is a well-qualified man. And like you said, you have to be, the guideline says you have to be nominated by a member, one member of the 54 affiliate countries, and you have to pass integrity check. So I think it's good. It's good for the democratic process of football that a lot of people are allowed to contest. Very, very unusual in the past when Issa Hayatou was the president and they barred a lot of people to pave way for for him to win all the time. Then Jacko Sanoma was the first, actually, to announce his intention on Sunday before Motsepe did today. And for Jacko Sanoma, he was stopped by former president Issa Hayatou in 2013, also a man of tremendous football pedigree. He used to be a member of the FIFA Executive Committee, and these are highly experienced administrators. We just hope that the terrain, there will be a level playing ground for all these contestants to try their luck and see if they can.
And may the best man win.
Yeah, that's our prayers.
All right. So let's listen to, of course, let's listen to Danny Jordan, what he has to say from the SAFA end. And at some point, we'll also listen, because we told you, Nigeria, one of the countries supporting Motsepe's bid, and you hear the voice of the NFF president, Amaju Pinnick, voicing his support for this bid. So let's just take Danny Jordan, and of course, also hear the voice of NFF president, Amaju Pinnick, voicing his support for Motsepe.
Clearly, we see that from an African perspective, we have to repackage competitions. Secondly, that stakeholder relationship and partners with the business sector always precede sponsorship or commercial revenue into the sport. So when we look at what are the challenge for African football, we find that some of the biggest investors on the African continent are countries from the biggest economies, the Chinese, the Indians, the USA, Germany. They invest in various infrastructure projects on the continent. And yet, when you ask the profit that you generate, where do you invest it? In the English Premier League, in La Liga, in UEFA, not in CAF. And one of the glaring issues is, do we have a relationship with investors and business on the African continent? Do we engage them? And so if you unlock revenue for African football, we have to address first the relationship that we may or may not have with business on the continent. And we are very convinced that the building of commercial partnership and the link between CAF and business leaders on the continent is a requirement. Because we must also appreciate that the delivery of football has become more expensive. Because now, before you can play the match, you need to satisfy the regulatory requirements. You must have medical tests, the health and medical protocols that must be observed before you can play the match.
With the permission of my executive committee, I would want to endorse Dr. Patrick Motsepe for the candidacy of the CAF. Well, Daniel said it all, and it's been months and months of consultation. My compatriots are kind of disappointed that I am not going to run, because the feeling has been, how much you pay me? But I just made them to understand it's not about me, it's not about Maggie Penny, it's about the continent of Africa. If you see somebody that has superior qualities than you, the only thing that you need to do is to modestly queue behind him and support him and wait for your time. And that's exactly what we have done. You know, it's one continent, and I'm very happy to hear what the minister says. We need to engage other critical stakeholders in the continent. But what I think right now, with this toward image of Dr. Patrick Motsepe coming into the fray, we believe African football, in no time, will be standing at par with UEFA and other very proud footballing confederations. So I want to congratulate him. It's not just endorsing him. We will work night and day in ensuring that he gets elected. And I can assure you 100%, Patrice Motsepe will be the next president of CAF.
All right, so that's it. We told you that the NFF president, voiced his support for Motsepe, Patrice Motsepe. But before going on a break, in a few seconds, I mean, the bid is to unseat the incumbent that has been there since 2017. The election is going to be next year in March. Should the president be worried?
That's Ahmad.
Yeah.
Well, these past 4 years, yes, he has been riddled with some form of controversy, especially the last time the CAF Champions League was held. A lot of things happened, and he didn't stand his ground, and so many other factors. So I think with the kind of personalities that have indicated that have thrown their hearts into the ring,
He should be worried.
he should be worried, because Jacques Sandoma had always wanted to be CAF president. Issa Hayatou, they played a lot of fast one on him, barred him in 2013, came up with statutes, guidelines that stopped him from contesting against him. So if a man like Issa Hayatu, actually stopped Anoma, that means that the man has some pedigree.
All right.
Then Mosepe, I mean, he's a billionaire. He has connections, and he runs one of the biggest football clubs.
Long story short, he should be worried.
Yeah, he has to be worried.
Okay. We need to go on a break. When we return from that break, there's still a lot for you on Sports Tonight. Once again.
The Channels 24 app means you'll always be in touch with the news. Get the latest local and international stories on the go. And there's our social media platforms for news from around the world. Watch the news live and play videos that matter to you. You can also check the Eyewitness section to report events around you. Just click on the Eyewitness icon and follow the instructions to upload your content. Channels 24 app, the news at your fingertips.
All right, welcome back. Austin is still with us. Our man Austin Okolakman right there in London. Austin, you listening to the clips of played. You also listened to some of the things which you said about, the stature of those who want to unseat Ahmad. But your thoughts on Patrice Motsepe, on the elections that will hold next year, and our man Amaju Pinnick also voicing their support for Motsepe's bid to become CAF president.
So with Amaju Pinnick supporting Motsepe's bid, it tells you that CAF's politics is about to get dirtier. You can tell that it's a divided house at the moment. Ahmad should be worried. The intention is to get him off there. We know how it was before Ahmad came in. A strong alliance was put together to take out Issa Hayatu, and then Ahmad came into the picture. So let's see. All I can say, Yemi Anoyewuchi, if you look deeper into this politics of CAF, there's a little bit of FIFA in it. That's why I said it's about to get, really dirty. So we don't know where FIFA is looking at, but I know that with this next year's election, there's going to be a lot of changes in CAF. I'm sure somewhere, somehow, some persons are not happy with the way CAF has been run. So transparency, there could be some question marks. Some persons are also bittered. So let's see. I know they are saying something about slashing the executive committee to about 16. Some people are already asking a lot of questions as regards Ahmad's contribution to international football from an African perspective, which is why it's a bit heartwarming that Amaju Pinnick is, bidding to get into the FIFA Council. I think that would be very good for Nigeria. We've not had anybody there since Amos Adamu, I think in 2008 or about 2012. Just two Nigerians have been able to be in there. So I think it's about bringing influence back into the Confederation of African Football. It's about breaking a block. We on the outside can't really see it, but if you look closely at the games that are being played, for instance, Amaju Pinnick now saying, no, I'm not going to run again. I'm going to support Motsepe. Danny Jordan, who's been there, done that, also throwing his hat and everything, then you will know that we're in for some huge politics with African football.
All right, we'll leave it there. We'll let the gladiators do their thing. When the dust settles, we'll see what happens in all of that. Austin, before we let you go, let's quickly take a look at the results. Match day 10 in the Handball Premier League. I know you've been following, and I don't know if any of the results we're going to show will surprise you, but let me just look at the results. That's it, right there on your screen. We started with the women. Adorable Angels beating Imo Grasshoppers 29-27. Plateau Peacocks defeating Seasider Babes 22-17. Defender Babes losing 31-35 points, losing to Safety Babes. And for the men, you have Carter Stars losing to Rima Strikers 24 points to 38. Confluence Stars was a very, very close game. They lost to Chief of Army Staff Shooters 26 points to 27. Austin, your thoughts on handball? Because that's going to be your parting shot on the show.
Yeah.
But your thoughts on the results that you've just seen right there on the screen.
all day, every day. I'm giving all my love to our adorable angels. I mean, that team from Ilorin, they have played phenomenal handball at this handball league. They started with holding Safety Babes, the defending champions. They went on to beat Seasider Babes. They defeated Desert Queens, and today they've defeated Imo Grasshoppers. Guess what? They only just got into the league. They are Division 1 champions, and look at how they are tearing things apart. Tells you that they are doing something right from that region with handball. And that's what the league does for you. It gives you a structure, it gives you a lens to look at things in a way that you can develop. So the Handball Federation of Nigeria should take a good look at that adorable Angels team. What is it? Because they're on a ride and they're sustaining the momentum. It's about 4 wins on the bank now. So that sort of thing gives them all the attention that they need. You can actually get national team players from there. You can support them to keep getting better. And that's why I love the fact that we're having this league. I love what Adorable Angels are doing. I love the upset. If not for the form of the defending champion Safety Babes, Adorable Angels easily can go on to win this league in the women's category.
All right, that's a good place to leave it. Austin Okonakpa, I want to thank you for your time on the show today.
So much, guys.
Hopefully, we'll do this again some other time this week.
Always a delight. Thank you.
All right. So that's our man, Austin Okonakpan, right there from London. Oyewuchi, let's see how much ground we can cover before we end the show. Let's really talk about what's happening at Anfield, Liverpool's stadium. We hear that a COVID-19 testing center has opened at Anfield, and it offers everyone's test, whether or not you have the symptoms. I mean, the United Kingdom, the government is looking at ways, they're battling with the second wave. They're looking at ways to just, find a way to just bring this thing down. They find a new way to use testing to limit the spread of coronavirus. And of course, there's international break, so they can use Anfield for a couple of days before Liverpool.
Yeah, I think it's very good social responsibility that Liverpool have done. I mean, the more people you test, you will be in a better position to know their status. So I think these are some of the things we, even in this part of the world, should begin to imbibe. We are not testing people enough. We just assume most of the times people are not encouraged to go for testing. So we need to do more testing somehow in this part of the world so that everybody will know their status.
All right.
Because we are battling against a very dangerous virus, and it shouldn't be treated with levity.
All right. So that's it. And that center would, carry out a lot of tests for a lot of people. Oyewuchi, let's quickly talk about Diego Maradona in a few seconds. I want to read a couple of tweets. But Diego Maradona, the doctors say, making an amazing recovery. But the story is that the fans are keeping vigil, praying for him, get well messages. Even his club is saying, we are with you, Diego. And it's surprising that even after his football days, this man is still so well loved.
Yeah, I mean, he's idolized, and the reasons are obvious. He won the World Cup for Argentina at Mexico '86, and not just winning, he did everything, he put in everything, and got to the final in 1990, lost to Germany. So, I mean, you don't blame the fans. This is a phenomenal figure. He's a man that gave everything to football, especially to the Argentina national team. So the fans are giving back.
Doesn't surprise you.
Yeah, they are just reciprocating the gesture that Maradona did when he was a football player.
Okay. All right, so that's it on Maradona. We also hear he's getting better. Hopefully, he'll be out of the hospital soon, and everything will be back the way it used to be. All right, so let me just read a tweet before we wrap things up here. A lot of tweets, but I can just read one. Nobleman Flyer, he says, Nobleman Flyer at Nobleman Flyer says, I foresee the Eagles picking 6 points from the double header, subject to Genadoro picking the right team, as everyone seems to be in hot form. Win or lose, the boys shouldn't take the blame, but the coach should.
I mean, the coach picks the team.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, he picks the team, so he should take the blame. He takes the
you
glory.
agree?
Too. Yeah, no, he picks the team, so he should take the glory.
Take the blame and you take the praise.
Yes, he picks the team.
Way.
He picks the team. We don't pick the team for him.
Yeah,
he selects the squad. So in that situation, he has to take whatever comes. That's the job of a coach.
Okay, that's a wrap on the show. But first, Onyemuchi Nwachukwu, I want to thank you for your time today.
Always a pleasure.
All right. Hopefully we'll do this some other time.
No problem.
All right. Thank you as well for allowing us to be a part of your day. We'll do this again tomorrow. I'm Yemi Adebayo. Bye-bye now.